The simulation model consists of reception, 2 triage rooms, 4 treatment rooms for peds, and 9 treatment rooms for adults, waiting area for adults, and waiting area for peds. There are 2 types of patient arrivals: walk-in patient or patient using their own transport, and patient that arrive by ambulance. In this model, only 8 cases are considered to be suitable ambulance conveyances for the UCC, which has been defined and agreed with London Ambulance Services. Upon arrival, patient go to reception first. If the reception is busy, patient has to wait in a waiting area until the receptionist becomes available. Once patients are logged in, they wait to be called for triage in a waiting area. As a result of triage, there are 5 possible pathways: patient with no investigations, patient using X-ray only, patient accessing X-ray and laboratory services, patient having laboratory services only, and patient routed to ED. Each group has its own set of priorities. In this model, we assume that patients remained in the treatment area during their entire stay, except when they are undergoing an X-ray. As soon as the X-ray becomes available, a patient is given priority in the queue, except when another higher priority is also in the queue, such as the one coming from ambulance conveyances, or another patient judged to be higher priority. Now we know that we have 2 receptionists and 2 triage rooms. Also, we do know that we have 9 cubicles for adults and 4 for peds. How about resources such as nurses and GPs or doctors? Let's have a look. Click on shift. For example, shift 1 and shift 2 for GPs or doctors, 3 and 3 available resources. We check nurse bench 7. There are 4 nurses bench 7 on shift 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the shift 1 consists 8 to 10, shift 2 10 to 4, shift 3 4 to 8, shift 4 8 to 10, shift 5 10 to midnight, and the last shift is midnight to 8 o'clock. This type of shift design will allow to find an optimum number of staff in terms of adding some bank staff or agency staff in a peak times. In this model, we categorize the arrivals in 2 categories: arrival for peds and arrival for adults. Although that both of them have 2 peaks during the day, but they are really separate. So in order to mimic the reality, these categories were separated. Furthermore, the inter-arrival were the inter-arrival of the distribution were designed by hour. Let's have a look. For instance, for adult, you can see that for every hour we have defined a distribution. 4 o'clock in the morning, it is an exponential with an average of 1436. Another example, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it's Pearson 5. It is the same thing for PEDS. However, for ambulance conveyances, we have defined the distribution for 24 hours. Now we went through all the system component and the model design. Let's run the model, but before running the model, let's check that we are going to run it for only a week. It is 10,080 minutes, which is 1 week, and the warm-up period is 2,000 minutes. So after 2,000, the collection of the result will start, and this is for a period of a week. Now the model is running. Let me just give you some other approaches or methodologies that has been used in this model. If there is a surge in the PEDS area, the PEDS cannot use adult area, and vice versa. A cleanup time when each patient leave the system was included in the model. Whenever a staff member becomes available, she or he would tend a waiting patient straight away. So just let's accelerate a little bit the simulation. We can see here at the bottom right, I adapted two queues for PEDS. The first queue is before treatment, waiting for triage, and waiting for treatment, and that means after triage, and the same one for the above one for adult. So here we're gonna monitor whether the capacity of the waiting room is sufficient to run the services. At the end of this simulation model, which is just ended now, we noticed that 1,602 patients has been treated and discharged from the UCC. On the other hand, we have 312 patients that has been routed after triage to ED. Clearly, the queue for PEDS, the maximum waiting patient is 7, and the capacity is 14. It's within the limit, and for adult, the capacity is 14, and we have 8 maximum waiting patient at the same time. Let's have a look at the system time. Click result. So 98% of patients are treated within 4 hours, which is within the government target. So if you want to break down this, just to see, the maximum one is 36, just over 6 hours. and there are only few, because it's only 2% who went over 250